Welcome to Crafty Liz Creations. My name is Elizabeth. Here's my setup for this small board. My zip ties are all preloaded. We're using every set of holes on row 1. We're doing, on row 2, we're doing the larger gap holes. These are the regular ones, the small ones that are close together like that. Those are our regular holes for flower making, but I'm going in, but you can use any holes anyways. I'm going in and using the larger gap holes. So there's 16 in there. There's 16 on the outside. There's 16 on the second. And then on the third row, there's 8. And then on the fourth row, there'll be 8 as well. So lots of petals. So I did go ahead and pre-make a lot of these lolly petals that we'll be using. And in this colors, we're using the black poly burlap, the yellow poly burlap, and as well as the black and yellow window pane. That's our colors for this flower. So let's fold the lolly petal. Here's the lolly petal. To fold the lolly petal, you'll need to cut your mess 10 by 10. I did wood burn this mess, but you don't have to. But I do. I usually do with my poly burlap, just because to reduce fraying and all that. Okay, so we put the poly burlap curve side up, turn it this way like a diamond shape. You grab this corner and put it down over here. You get that shape, flatten it out, and I turn it sideways. I like it this way. I'll grab a 4-inch here, 4-inch zip tie. And I stretch it right there in the middle. I go up about 2 inches and I pinch it. Okay, see that? And again, I go over about, let me see, about 2 inches, and I pinch it and push it against. This is how I make mine. I think this is easier for me. There's different ways you can fold this petal, but this is how I do it. And so you grab the other side, I pinch it and I push it against the middle, trying to line these up over here. So you can see they're all lined up. Okay, and then this is where the magic happens for the lolly petal. I just grab this and I push it against. Yeah, I don't do this because it'll make a scoop. I just push it against towards the middle. Okay, and again, this side I push it towards the middle. Okay, and here you can shape it. I made mine a little bigger. I don't know if we need a big petal because we're using this small board, but we shall see. And here's where you shape your lolly petal. Make sure all these ends down in there are together. And pinch it right there, and I zip tie. All these petals are like, I put the zip tie at the 5-inch mark. I'm putting it on the 10 right here. I'm putting all the zip ties 5 inches from the top. So they all look the same, and yeah, the same length. Okay, so again, I go back to my mark here and I measure it out, and I push my zip tie at the 5-inch mark before I close it up, and then I close it up. Okay, and I clip that off and snip this off right here. I measure mine. When I cut mine, I put my thumb right there, right beside the zip tie, and that's where I cut it. It doesn't really matter, but that's what I've been doing, just to be precise. Let's make a couple more here. Just visualize this part. I won't explain, so you guys can See for yourselves how easy and fun it is to make this lolly petal. Okay. And you get like a, what do you call, a mushroom shape there when you do that. Put these middle parts together there. So you get your lolly petal. It's like a little air balloon looking lolly petal here. But this is why I love using poly burlap. You can shape your petals the way you want them. That's mainly why I use poly burlap lots, is because the molding and the shaping, it's very pliable, and I love that about poly burlap. Okay, and then you zip this, clip it, and cut it off. Okay, next I'll do another one for you. Turn it this way, pinch at the 2-inch mark, 2.5, 2 inches. It's up to you. And I push these together like that, so you get that shape. And then I grab this and I just slide it over. Slide it over. These ones don't have to meet down here. They don't usually for your lolly petal. It's okay if these don't aren't exactly the same length. You don't have to worry about the bottom part. All you got to worry about is up here, this part up here, and the shaping and how you want it. So this is another one. We're gonna use this one for the middle part there. I'll show you that after, when we get to the last row. There's 2 different petals we'll be using for this bee themed wreath here. It's always fun to mix and match your petals when you're doing flowers. I quite enjoy that. Let's add those in there, and we'll have fun with it. So again, we're doing row 1 for the small board. We're doing every set of holes for row 1. So again, when I add my zip tie, my lolly petal, I'm making sure my zip tie is inside this zip tie that I'm zipping up, so it's going to be a good stopper. Okay, next one. Okay, so they're overlapping a little bit. So what you can do if you don't like them overlapping like that too, is you can stretch them out to make them a little, you know, not too rounded. See, again, poly burlap is good, nice and pliable. See that? See how different those are? Let's keep adding them. It's actually, you know, in the beginning, I've had trouble making the lolly petal myself. I had to do over and over, and then finally I got it. I don't usually come on to do these petals much because I'm so busy with the list petal. But here I am sewing. Yes, I'll be sewing a few more here after we add the black ones. Okay. So you can stretch them out so they'll fit together nicely, but together. They're looking good now, eh? Look at that. Some of them are a little big. Some of them are a little wider than one, but that's okay. Okay, just adding them in there, making sure my zip tie is in there. Okay, there we go. Couple more black ones in there, and then we'll make a couple more of these for the next row in a different color. Oh, look at that. I made extra ones. An extra one right there. Last one. This one is a little, there we go. That's better. So I'll just gonna clip the zip tie tails off. All right, so all the black lolly petals are in there, all 16 of them. Now let me show you how to fold this petal again, but this time in the window pane. I'll grab my window pane mess here, and a couple of them are left for you, so I can show you the difference between just the plain regular poly burlap and this window pane. The reason why it's called window pane poly burlap is because it has holes and gaps right in between these lines down in there. And this one I just cut where the 10-inch mark was. As you can see, when I do the flowers, I usually cut right in between. Even though if it goes over 10 inches, I cut right in between, would burn. But I just left these this time because all these edges will be hidden in there, as you can see when I showed you how to fold a lolly petal here before. All right, so same thing, curve side up, diamond shaped, put this down to this corner, flatten it out. I turn it sideways. I look for the 2-inch mark or 2.5 inch, and I pinch. See that? I pinch. And then again, I'll walk over to this side and see the 2-inch mark. I pinch there and push it against it, the middle. Get that shape. Same thing again. Look for the 2-inch mark. I pinch there and I push this against the middle. And you get that shape. And for these, I just walk them over this way. I just grab this and I just put it against the middle. You get that shape. And same thing for this side, I just put it against the middle. And these don't have to line up again. They don't have to, because you're not going to see. When I finish folding this, I usually measure this out 5 inches, and that's where I add my little zip tie. Okay? Hope that makes sense. Let's do another one. Pinch it and pinch here, slide it over, slide this over, And when you slide this over, you notice this is perking up right here. What you can do is just press it down. Just press it down. You don't need it to be perky like that. So you just press this part down and it'll be okay. Okay, and I add a zip tie on the 5" length of the petal mark. Yep, perfect. And that's your lolly petal. It's fun and different. It looks like a little hot air balloon, this one. So we just, on row 2, I am going into the larger gap hole. So there's going to be 16 lolly petals on row 2. So I'll just slip and zip it. Slip and zip, making sure my zip tie is in there again. And I just zip it up. And you notice how, the reason why I'm using the larger gap holes, you notice how these are, you know, this one is in the middle of these 2 petals right here. I love that. Okay, when I use the larger gap holes, I'm gonna pull these up to make them a little, you know, pointier so they won't overlap again. When I use the larger gap holes, I feel confident that my petal's gonna stay in there since I'm using the 4" zip tie. So I don't need to use glue. I'll just put these in there and we'll come back and shape them how we would like them. And let's get this way. Alrighty, 2 more. Last one for this row. So let's cut those tails off. All those petals for row 2 are in there. What I thought I was going to do here now is just pull them up to make them a little narrow. If you can do that, you can. So they'll be, you know, they won't be covering each other up. This is what you can do. Or you can just leave them if you like how they look. It's up to you. But I think I'm going to make them a little, you know, more smaller rather than like a balloon looking petal. Okay. I would have done this, but I wasn't sure. I would have done this for these petals before I added them on to the board, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that. So, but now I want to. See? This mess is very forgiving too, so you won't break it. Okay, here we go. There, that's better. I don't know what's going on with these ones over here. There we go. Isn't that better? I like that. I like that, I think. Okay, so now let's work on the, how many should I make here? How many petals? Yes, I need to do 2 yellow lolly petals here because I didn't make 6, so we need to do, I don't need this. I think I overcut the mesh. So let's fold a couple lolly petals. So again, I would burn the poly burlap. I always do with my poly burlap because, I don't know, it's just a habit. I put my, I would burn it 10 by 10. So I put the, this curved setup and I turn it this way with a point pointing away and one point pointing towards you. So I grab this end and put it down over here, flatten this out, I turn it sideways and I stretch it and I pinch it about, yeah, 2.5 inches is where I pinched. And then I look and I pinch it at the 2-inch mark and I push it against the middle. You get that shape. This is how I make mine. You probably have your own way. Stick with your way. Don't mimic mine. Okay, and then I just push these flaps against each other, and these don't line up again. That's okay. And there's your little, what do you call it, mushroom. And I push this against, and this one, slide it over to meet the middle. And you have your lolly petal. Add my little 4-inch zip tie in there. Make sure it's on correctly, not backwards. Let's grab my board, my wreath, and we'll just quickly add those lolly petals onto row 3. Making sure my zip tie is in there again. And pull and close. You see now you don't need to mold your petal because it needs to cover up the whole board down in there and the zip ties. Ready? See? They're just right up against each other now. Perfect. Oops, I skipped one. Why did I do that? Okay. Last one on row 3. There we go. See how they're just butting up against each other for row 3 this time? We don't need to mold them. They're just perfect the way they are now. So I'm just going to cut off the zip ties. Row 1, 2, 3 petals are all in there. So now we're going to be adding a different kind of petal on row 4. This is the petal we're doing. So let's fold 3. So again, 10 by 10 poly burlap, wood burned, curve side up, turn it into a diamond. Grab this corner and put it down over here, flatten this out. And I grab this and I fold it over. Is it this way? No, this way, the other way. They're all the same, folded the same. So I need to fold this away from me. Okay, so we're doing this one right here. See that? And I'm just gonna grab this and fold it where I think is the middle, right? And I grab this right here, this and this. I pinch it, and I just slide these over. You see, when I slide these over, you notice that this part is folding a little bit. It's all right. That's supposed to go like that. You see what I mean? Just folding over a little bit. This end, and this one is the same too. When you slide it over, it folds up a bit. See that? Yep. So when I go to measure this one for the zip tie part, I put it on the 5.5 inch mark. I like to be precise on my petals just because I won't have to readjust and adjust them at the end when I look at my wreath for pictures. I don't have to see one petal up, one petal down. So this is way easier for me. I've been doing that for a while now. No, I don't have to turn it that way. So I'm just gonna, I just take these, rip them off, because if I cut them, they're gonna, the part that you leave over here is gonna come sticking out again, and then I just don't want that to happen, so I just rip it off. I think it's better for me that way. So I just fold about this much, not very much, about that much when I fold this one. You see that? You can't really see with the black here. And I pinch right there, and I push this against the middle. See the little fold it makes? I'm gonna push this against, see? I like that, I just love that. 5.5 inch mark is where I'm adding the zip tie. Oops. I do have 3 centers lined up over here, and I wanted you guys to see. Actually, no, I'll show you here. This is the 7 inch, you know, the 7 inch center. You can get, actually, no, you need the middle part. Yeah, I was just gonna measure it out. Yeah, you need to do the middle. You can add lolly petals in here, keep going with lolly petals. But again, you'd need to, you know, pull them up like this to make them all fit in there, because okay. Oh my gosh, that's my glue gun. All right, and just fold it a little bit right there. Pinch, push against the middle, push this against the middle, and you have a little petal. Don't know what it's called, but it's like a star flower petal to me, that's how it looks. Okay, let's add those petals in the middle. Again, we need 8. So there's 8 right here. You can just start anywhere. And making sure my zip tie is inside there. I almost kept going with the yellow for this part, but I wanted that yellow to, you know, pop. Right now you can see the mess and some of the zip ties I'll adjust them, so cover up the board and the zip ties and the mesh poly burlap here in a bit. Oops. Make sure my petal is in there. Right on. There we go. And then all the my middle holes right in there are covered up. Not to worry. Okay, so let's cut off these zip ties. All right. So that's how that looks without me fluffing, you know, the petals here. So now I'm gonna fluff them up, make sure everything is covered. So what I do here is I'm just gonna pull these sides wider and maybe make this a little bigger. You can do that. And again, pull these and make them a little bigger. See how they're transforming differently, and post them like that. You won't be able to see that when we add the center in there though. And again, here we go. Mold. Okay, so that's how it looks now with everything fluffed out. Let's add the center. I have this center. You can add this one, but I don't really like how that looks. And I have this one, but I don't want to add that on. You can if you want. I have another one with a bee on it. I've had this for a while and been wanting to use it. I don't know where I got this bee, but I'm sure you can get this at Craft Outlet. It's kind of a foam bee. So that's what we're adding on in there. So now you can see right over here in the back, these 2 holes are meant for the center. So I'm just gonna try and go in there and see if I can find those holes. Because I did, okay, this way. There's one over here, I can see it. It's this peekabooing. Right here is where I usually use my needle. My blue needle. Blue, not blue, purple. And but I don't know where it went. Where is the holes? Am I not finding the hole? What's going on here? I could have used the ones that the diagonal ones over here, but I don't know why I didn't. I'll just use those. It's faster. I don't want you to sit here and just watch me trying to find the center holes there. I'll turn it around here and show you the back when I add this one here. Again, I should have taken out my needle. That part I forgot. There it is. Isn't that cute? So now, turn this around. Cut this off. Stick this back in the hole. Don't want to cause any problems. And we'll add a hanging zip tie up in there. There we go. And cut this off. And yeah, I squashed the little wings of the bow, the bee. All right. So you see that? Bee themed flower on the Unique in the Creek small board. All done.